Hi everyone, it's Vanquish here. So in this video, I do want to talk about the new August update for Shadowverse, as well as some of the things that Cygames might have missed that the community could have really appreciated, as well as some of the things that I believe and probably a lot of the community believes they probably should have done or kind of missed, what could have been done differently, and what they should do in the future to make this game more enjoyable and competitive. So first off, I do want to talk about the each card individually, and I'm not gonna go over that too long because everyone on Reddit's already talked about that, right? So uh, let's get on over here. So first we have Baphomet, right? Um, so this one's this one hurts. This one hurts because now we don't have um, the Snake deck or the OTK Azazel decks, right? Now Baphomet only puts a random Bloodcraft follower from your deck into your hand. So I think the card is still pretty good in like let's say Phantom Cat, because if you put it in Phantom Cat, it could still get you BKB, it still gets you Scarlet Sabior, and it still gets you Phantom Cat, right? And then the rest is just neutrals. So Baphomet is still good in Phantom Cat, I believe, but at the same time, it's not all too interesting, right? But we'll see how the metagame develops. Anyways, next up is Tove, and this card completely got wrecked. uh, I mean, come on. Now it's just a 2/2, right? So what makes this better than any other 2-drop on turn 2? This does not make it better than any other 2-drop on turn 2. This card pretty much, yeah, it's pretty much garbage. Like the only way it's playable is if like in the late game you want to like rush something down, right? But then that requires you to have a neutral as well. Yeah, I don't think Tove is going to see any more play, to be honest. Alright, next up, Grimnir. Oh my god. Anyone who's watched me stream, all of you know that I freaking hate Grimnir. I mean, I play myself. I like Grimnir, like when I'm playing it, but it was always overpowered. So now the nerf makes it so that it deals only 4 damage to enemy followers instead of to the enemy himself, like the opponent. So it no longer deals damage to the face, which is what I've been asking for forever, and so have so many other people. I actually uh, posted that I think Grimnir's gonna get nerfed, and some people like question it, but I mean, like I said, on my part it was like wishful thinking. I thought that Grimnir and Nectar should be nerfed, and instead they only nerfed Grimnir, and I even called it out, almost 2 weeks ago, where I would really advise Cygames to make the enhance ability not hit 4 to the face. The reach is what really kills it. It's what really makes it like stand out, and I mean it's crazy, like, right? Because how many times have you lost because they had the Grimnir? Now, of course, you're still gonna lose to Grimnir if you had wards in the way that you thought were protecting you, because now Grimnir is just gonna clear those wards, and you're gonna get screwed over anyways. But again, it doesn't do damage to face. It's not gonna be like that crazy finisher that the opponent always seems to have. It was way too versatile before. They could be a 3-drop 2/3, which is decent, especially with ward, and then a ward clear with reach. Nah. So thank you, Cygames, for this. Like, honestly, and it's almost as if they listen to me or something. But I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure I'm not the only one who felt that all they had to do was remove the forward face damage, right? I was not the only one. I know I've gone to other streams and they've said the same thing. So no big deal. And I definitely agree with Cygames there. Next up is Ouroboros. I didn't think that this card was on the radar. This one caught me a little off guard, but it definitely makes a lot of sense. We've all been playing against Dragon, and we all know that Dragoncraft it has always been like top tier. Like Dragoncraft, Ram Dragoncraft, always top tier. I thought that was gonna still be top tier with this expansion, but nah, I was a little wrong. It still does well against Blood and all that, but it did not do as good as I thought it would. But anyways, now it no longer heals you. It just goes back to your hand, but it still deals the 3 damage from the fanfare. I think the card is still an amazing powerhouse. I mean, it could just this is always value. You just keep playing it, replaying it, and Dragon had way too many healing spells, like and abilities and everything. I mean, they didn't need all of that healing. they have some decks even play Unica, right? So, but Unica aside, the staples are Draconic Fervor and Sybil, and then a lot of people run Israfil and Lucifer. So, like, that's already a lot of healing they had. So Ouroboros also healing them, and freaking Unica if they run Unica. So, anyways, I think this was a good call. It makes it so that aggro is just not completely hopeless against Ouroboros. All right, so next up, this one has been a little bit controversial apparently. But Princess Snow White is now a 2/3 when it's evolved instead of a. I'm sorry, it's a 2/2, not a 2/3. Used to be a 2/3. So now it actually dies after trading with most 2-drops, which a lot of people think that now it's garbage or something. But obviously, Princess Snow White. Think about it. If you're a Snow White player, you're still gonna be running this. It can still deal with any other follower on the board that has 3 HP. So any 3-drop, it still kills Grimnir as a 2-drop, right? That's good. And I mean, yeah, and it can still kill, like, let's say a Baphomet, a 2/1 Baphomet, and then kill like another 2-drop. Like, and it still has synergy with the Hound. Obviously, that's why everyone is gonna be like saying, "Oh, synergy with the Hound, synergy with the Hound," of course. But anyways, so I think the nerf, it didn't catch me completely off guard, but it is a little surprising. And wow, now I notice like how Luda gets when she evolves. She actually shows more skin. Like, what the fuck? Come on, Cygames. Come on. Anyways. Oh, alright. So the big one, obviously, Spawn of the Abyss. Now, the stats don't change, but it only deals 5 damage to the enemy leader, and even when it evolves, it still only deals 5 damage. So the thing about Spawn of the Abyss is that with this ability now only dealing 5, and Spawn of the Abyss with the Baphomet nerf, Spawn can only be played on turn 8, right? Maybe you could use like a Bandersnatch or something when it's enhanced to bring it out or whatever, which, I don't know, maybe we'll see Bandersnatch played with Spawn now, but the whole point now is that this is very comparable to Temptress. Temptress is like the 9 play point follower that deals 5 damage fanfare. The thing about Temptress is that you don't actually, first of all, it heals you for 5, I think, right? But second, you don't need an evil point to get the immediate damage going, right? So that's a huge one. I still think Spawn is going to be seeing play with like a Bandersnatch type of build. I'm not sure if that will actually be tier 1. And I definitely don't think that, I really doubt that it will be played in neutral blood. But that's my opinion. I might be wrong, but that's just my opinion. Anyways, next up, Goblin Leader. So this is actually a very big one here. So Goblin Leader now is a 4-drop instead of a 3-drop, and that makes the world's biggest difference, because obviously now the neutral curve got weaker because it's not gonna be 1/2 and then 3 play point Goblin Leader into like an Alice or BKB and Big Knuckle Bodyguard, or any other 4-drop, and that's pretty big for 2 reasons. One is that if your opponent is going first and they play a Goblin Leader, how do you deal with that if you don't have anything on board? Guess what? You don't. You have to spend 2 play points to play a 2 play point removal spell. It could be Zombie Party if you're Shadowcraft, Breath of the Salamander if you're Dragoncraft, Blackened Scripture if you're Haven. So it's a waste of a turn because they still got value out of it from the Goblin that they spawned at the end of turn. And yeah, now that it's a 4-drop, now it gives the player going second the ability to play a follower, evo, and kill the Goblin Leader right away. So that's a big deal. I really like this nerf, and I'm sure everyone does, and I don't need to talk about it anymore. I think everyone understands that, yeah, this needed to happen, and just increasing it to a 4 play point follower is definitely the right call. Because some people were thinking, oh, maybe just make it so that the Goblin spawns at the beginning of the turn, which that could have fixed it too, because at least now when you deal with it right away, there's no value. But I like this nerf a lot better. So now I do want to talk a little bit more about this change and what they could have done differently. there's three things that Cygames definitely missed out on. Besides, the Ector nerf and any other, and Alice nerf and whatnot. But there's one very important thing that they need to improve, and that's the timeliness of their updates. So right now, they only update their game once per month, and it's only done at the end of the month. Now, no matter what, that's terrible, everyone. So let's take a look to what actually happened in this expansion. Okay, so let me bring up the window here. This is just a regular calendar. So on July 1st, let's say July 1st, I think was the day that it was released. If not, it was the day before. Whatever. The whole point. July 1st, the Blood neutral deck was not established yet. On the second day, Blood was definitely the top tier deck. Okay. On day 3, the metagame solidified, and we knew what decks were top tier. Obviously, neutral Blood as well. Even though we didn't see Phantom Cat for a little later. But that means, this was my thought process. The first 2 days, okay, we established that neutral Blood is crazy. Let's give it another 2 days for people to find out the meta even more and maybe have a proper solution to Blood. That never happened, everyone. No one had a proper solution to Blood, and especially when you're going second. If you're going second against neutral Blood, you're pretty much just almost guaranteed loss. Their win rate going first was just crazy, and Cygames did admit to that. So what happened then? A lot of us, we liked playing the game, so we played the game. We kept playing. For the first week, we were just like in doubt that the metagame is like only Blood and whatever, we could do something about it. A lot of us were still in doubt, but once, let's say around day 7, it was established that, okay, look, this is going to keep happening. Yeah, we pretty much just kept playing because we wanted to get Grandmaster, because Grandmaster was a new thing. So that's why we kept playing, because Grandmaster was a new thing. If they didn't introduce Grandmaster with this patch, then we would definitely have not been playing in this crap meta. 100%. So people suffered just trying to get GM, like everyone, unless we all tried to adapt. One way to adapt is to play Blood ourselves. Another way was to try and play something that beat Blood. And guess what? We didn't really find what beat Blood. We found some things that were a pretty good answer to Blood, but not if we're going second most of the time. So honestly, it was just putting up with coin flips to get to Grandmaster at that point. And yeah, I mean, by day 21, right? By the third week, I was so tired of playing. I only got to 6K master score, and I was like, there's still some hope. But then after playing, but I noticed that I stopped playing offline because I wasn't having fun. So it's like if I was playing offline, I could have gotten. I mean, by offline I mean like off stream. If I was playing off stream, I could have gotten Grandmaster most likely, but that's not a good way to spend my time. Okay, I want to have fun. All right, I want to enjoy myself when I'm playing a video game, and that would not have been enjoying myself. If I'm streaming it, it's a little bit fun because all of you guys are there watching me, and we're all interacting, and it's fun, and I like hanging out with all of you. But yeah, so that's the one thing that they have to improve, the timeliness. If you look at Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast, right? If you look at Konami, that makes Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes they do emergency bans when they see that the metagame is pretty messed up. What they do sometimes is that they notice that the attendance at tournaments has gone down, so they make their move. They do something about it right away because they don't want attendance in tournaments to go down. And that's what Cygames should have done. They should have ignored their one update per month rule and just done an emergency patch where they kind of just fixed up the card. Honestly, it's crazy that they took this on. All right, second thing that they really need to improve on is the playtesters. So obviously they have playtesters, but not so obvious, right? How did that the neutral Blood deck in this metagame? I don't know. All right, that's crazy to me. They let it slip. A lot of the pros also kind of let it slip. We didn't realize, oh shit, this was gonna be the number 1 deck. But at the same time, it's not like we're the ones playtesting. We're just the ones theory crafting. but it's not like we actually had the physical cards or whatever the hell and play tested. So again, they need to improve their playtesting game. Magic the Gathering has a future league in which they have a group of playtesters that are playtesting the sets that are going to come out 2 to 3 years into the future in that meta. And they've done a really good job, except for recently where they kind of had some mess ups and they've had to do emergency bans. But again, they did the emergency bans, which is what I talked about in my first point. And also, they actually hired even more Magic the Gathering pros on their playtest team to make sure that, yeah, they figure out the metagame, the future metagame a lot faster, and so that they don't drop the ball again. Because they understand that, hey, if there's no tournament attendance, or if there's tournament attendance but people are not enjoying themselves, like they're gonna, they lose money. All right, they lose the players. Same thing is gonna happen to Cygames. If they don't step up their shit, pretty much, people are gonna just stop playing. If again, after these changes that just happened, if somehow the metagame becomes some crazy 50% Shadowverse, Shadowcraft meta, and then it's a coin flip again, I'm not gonna be fucking playing this game for another month until they fix that. You know what I mean? And at that point, it's like, why play the game at all if they're gonna take 1 month to every time to just fix something, and if they drop the ball for a second time. So again, and I know everyone's human, but they're a corporation. They got the resources. Okay, we as players, I'm one of the only resources that you have. Like, like content providers and streamers and those type and players. Like, we're the only type of resource that are available to each other. So, and time. But these people, they have the resources to hire like the professionals and to hire people from their competition. They could hire Magic the Gathering pros, which I heard that they've done, but apparently maybe it wasn't the right Magic the Gathering pros. Anyways, my last point. Sorry if this is a long video, but my last point is that the other thing that Cygames has to do, that's very important, is to not make this game too much like Hearthstone. So what I mean by that is that Hearthstone has a lot of RNG. I remember that there is a lot of times in Hearthstone where, I play a turn 1 Fiery Bat, which deals 1 damage to a random enemy or something, and that 1 damage going to a follower or minion or to their face made the biggest difference ever, and yeah, so we need less RNG, so no tribunal bullshit, right? And what I've been seeing a lot right now is a lot of lurching corpse, because Shadowcraft is a thing right now. Like, there's a lot more Shadowcraft in the meta, and there's gonna be even more once these card changes like roll in. So expect to see a lot of lurching corpse RNG probably, and just other RNG like that. And Cygames, we don't want that many RNG cards. I understand that the board space in this game is only 5 instead of 7 as opposed to Hearthstone. So like, there's things that can only target followers. It's a lot easier to manipulate RNG in Shadowverse, which is nice, but still we want less of that. And with that being said, we want less cards that that are hard to interact with, like Alice. If a player plays Alice, they buff all the neutrals in their hand, and how's your opponent gonna play around that? Like, they could, but it's really hard to play around a buff that we can't really see. Or what do we forget about it in like the late game or whatever? Like, we're not gonna really count, like, we don't try hard that much in this game, as opposed, like, where in Magic tournaments people have their notebooks write down like possible cards in their opponent's hand, right? Yeah. Like, we don't really do that, and we could, but yeah, we don't. Anyways, I do want to cut the video short already. Thank you all for watching. If this is my first Shadowverse video, and I do hope that you enjoyed it, and please feel free to comment and give your opinion on this matter in the comments below, and voice your opinion. Don't whine about it. Like, I kind of whined a little bit earlier, right? But don't whine about it. Just like give very well and well constructed criticism, so that Cygames can, because they see, they see what's going on. All right, like, if we go back to like my Reddit post, like I said, Maybe they didn't see this in particular, or maybe it was voiced out enough. But the fact that I said I would really advise Cygames to make the enhanceability not hit 4 to the face for Grimnir, and that's exactly what they did. Like 12 days later, they pay attention. Okay, they know what's going on. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Please give a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also follow me on Twitch, which is vanquish_LMD, which the links will be posted below. And yeah, I'll hope to see you guys more often. And feel free to talk as much crap about my opinion. It's all good. That's what we're here for, to just learn. So, anyways, thanks.